No bigger matchup all weekend, maybe all season than Georgia, Alabama. With Sam Acho, Trevor Matich, Kevin Connors here with you. Both teams inside the top five, both loaded on both sides of the ball. Trevor, last we saw Georgia, they weren't great. What's your level of concern with the Dogs offensively?
It's low, Kevin, because a lot of what happened to them against Kentucky on offense is fixable, and it starts with making it so that it's harder for defenses to dial in to what they're doing on offense. Now, they put the tight end out with the receivers, which makes this defender go wide in coverage. But before the snap, they'll motion him back to his normal spot, and then he will block one of their favorite plays. But this defender doesn't just stay there. It triggers an assignment change from coverage to blitz, and he will end up unblocked in the backfield to wreck this play before it can get started. Georgia can fix this by having more counters off of their most common plays. Now, talk about fixes. Guys that are normally good blockers seem to play with their eyes closed sometimes at Kentucky. This is a screen, and you know what? It's all accounted for. It's going to be a big play. These guys can block this play, and then, oh, what happened? Now, credit Kentucky for hitting it hard, but those Bulldog blockers are better than that. Speaking of better than that, Carson Beck is expected to be a top 10 NFL draft pick. And he buys space in the pocket to be able to uncork this throw to an open receiver with a lot of space. This will be a big play and maybe even a touchdown. And the ball goes where you don't expect it to go with Carson Beck. He missed a bunch of opportunities like that in this game as well. Now, they've had 2 weeks to prepare. And I expect this to be a different Georgia offense against Alabama because what went wrong in Kentucky, they can fix.
Georgia offense that was so good in the opening week. We win over Clemson here. That's one side of the coin. Of course, the other side of the coin is an Alabama offense that can score with just about anybody in college football, nearly 50 points per game. They can swing for the fences and hit the home run. 11 plays of at least 25 yards or more for a touchdown. Sam, take us inside the film room and illustrate the maturation of Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe has grown as a quarterback. We're going to go back in time and watch his second game action and then go to his second start, and then we'll finish. Football becomes second nature. Let's turn on the tape. This is 2022 Alabama versus Louisiana Monroe. Jalen Milroe is getting in the third quarter, mop-up action, handoff, but instead of having his hand in the running back's belly, his hand is down. It's a fumble. Nick Saban called 10 straight runs, but he couldn't get that part right. Well, now let's go to his second start of last season. He stares down the receiver. And so who else sees him staring down the receiver? The safety. Jaron Thompson runs over to that spot and goes to right exactly where this stare down was. So that's his second start. But Jalen Milroe has grown. He's matured. Let's go to now where football has become second nature. Now, this is this season versus Wisconsin. He looks at his receiver, but he looks back in the middle of the field. Subtle movement, but it's going to keep that safety off. He's going to get the ball back to his wide open receiver, Ryan Williams, for a touchdown. So football was in his second game. He wasn't getting it right. Then his second start was figuring it out. Now, all of a sudden, it's become second nature. Jalen Milroe has grown a lot. He's hoping that growth is shown off versus Georgia.